Alright, so just after the fairly successful launch of X Defiant, although I do have another video about that coming out soon. It would be out by now, but my power's been out for the past day and a half. But anyway, so with the successful launch of X Defiant and the surprise all-time peak player numbers in Rainbow Six Siege recently, Ubisoft decided to squander much of the goodwill they had just earned back by announcing the most insane update to a game that I can think of. So Rainbow Six Siege has 4 seasons a year where they add new content, reset the ranks, stuff like that, you know? And in the early days, this new content was 2 new operators, right? So 2 brand new characters that came with brand new weapons, brand new gadget, and a new map every single season. That was 8 new operators a year, you know, like a dozen guns, 4 new maps. And eventually that wore itself out and became 1 new operator with a new gadget that may or may not be based on the gadget that already existed in the game, and then guns that were typically recycled from other operators, so they were already in the game. And then occasionally a new map. Occasionally. This is despite monetization going through the roof. I mean, at launch, this game had basically no monetization schemes beyond the original price tag. But over time, they slowly started to add like weapon skins, then operator skins, loot boxes, a battle pass, and it's kind of spiraled out of control into like Call of Duty territory at this point. I mean, look at this. And then they recently revealed their plans for the next update. So they reworked an old aspect of the game, the recruits, and turned them into 2 new operators. Except nothing about them is new. They're entirely recycled content. Their guns aren't new. Their gadget is just using 2 of the secondary gadgets that the other operators already had access to, so that's not new. And even their character models are taken from the mobile version of the game. So again, not new. So that sucks, right? But it gets worse. On top of this next season falling spectacularly flat, again, right on the heels of them having the highest player count they've ever had, you know, the time at which they should be putting in more effort than ever to really benefit from their success, they paired this with the most brain-dead announcement I've probably ever seen in video games. A $10 a month subscription service specifically for this one game for cosmetics. So again, for the price of Xbox's Game Pass, which gives you access to a massive archive of video games, you could get a few cosmetic items. They think you're dumb. Like, that's the only possible explanation for this that I can think of. Someone high up at Ubisoft thinks you're dumb. And if you look back, this has been a recurring theme with Ubisoft for quite a while. It wasn't that long ago that they released what they called the first quadruple A game, Skull and Bones, which played like a half-baked indie game. I feel like there's cool stuff that could be in the game, I just don't see it yet. Even crazier is that it was somehow a downgrade from what it was based on, which was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, a game that's more than a decade old. It's kind of insane that they messed that up, really. And again, they released it because they think people are dumb. And maybe some of us are. So Assassin's Creed Shadows recently became one of the most pre-ordered games this year, and they haven't even shown gameplay yet. And again, this is the company that put out Skull and Bones just a few months ago. And y'all are giving them money before you even see gameplay. I mean, if you do that, you almost deserve to be scammed at this point. Like, this is also the same company that made The Crew unplayable earlier this year. You know, a game that I paid $60 for, had modes that could be played entirely single player, is now completely unplayable. There's no offline mode to it for whatever reason, and the servers got shut down. It's such an outrageous decision that you can actually get a full refund for it. Like, if you own the digital copy of the game, you can request a refund because it's literally unplayable. And you will get the full price you paid for it back. Because that's how much of a disaster it is, but they're just cutting their losses with it because, again, they think most of us are dumb. Too dumb to even ask for a refund. This is also the same company that used to have a big problem with using fake gameplay in gameplay trailers. For example, the original Watch Dogs was infamous for this. The game was decent, but the visuals were a huge downgrade from the trailer, and they thought we'd all just be too dumb to notice. The game did okay, but it would have done significantly better if they were just honest about how the game looked, which was decent. The game looked decent, played decent, it was an okay game. I'd say it even ended up being an underrated game because a significant chunk of people hated it just because of the lies, which is totally fair. It just really sucks for the developers because the actual product they made was decent. You know, it's a shame because there is a lot of talent at Ubisoft. You know, they own many great IPs, and make the occasional great game even. And most of the devs are clearly very passionate about their games, but someone or some group up high in the company just wants to squeeze your pockets for every dime they can, even though it constantly backfires on them. I mean, we've seen this for decades, centuries really, if you consider all types of economics, but decades when it comes to games. That the best way to make money consistently is to make good products and treat your customers with respect. If you're desperate, sure, you can make money quicker in a pinch by exploiting your customers, but that leads to less success down the line. It doesn't take a genius to notice this. The only way companies get away with behavior like this is when their product just happens to be so much better than their competitors that people put up with this nonsense anyways. But that doesn't mean they're not shooting themselves in the foot and limiting the amount of profits that they could be getting if they were just better people. But whatever. But so many people are upset with it. I have a feeling that they're probably going to reverse the subscription service. I mean, it's just so dumb. But what do you think? Do you think they're going to keep the subscription service, or do you think they're going to cancel it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. That's it for today. So see ya.
They think you're dumb.